was around.
Even with what Joe said, he still gets this whole thing kicked off.
Several death traps without any extraction points or anything. At one point, they say they need to get off the ship, and he denies the request. Enough time has passed that he was able to send the Wonder Twins to some remote area. So you're telling me that while Parker and Jill were fighting for their lives, he didn't have a second team on standby the entire time they were radio silent? Not to mention that he just keeps everything a secret from one of his best agents, because he knew there was
on their lives. He was still respected in the end, and even took responsibilities for his actions and resigned. He's a low-key character.
Here it cost them their lives. Are you getting senile as Joe is?
Fuck you.
It did cost a life. Did you already forget Rachel?
Oh shit. Oh yeah, I did.
No surprise there, old man. He didn't even want to go on this mission, let alone be unlucky enough to be paired up with someone who had ulterior motives. As far as I'm concerned, her death is solely on his hands, and the needless one of that.
That makes it even more pathetic knowing that nobody really gives a shit about her afterwards.
Well, fuck, it does feel like she was just swept under the rug when you put it that way. So I guess C tier then.
At the very most.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, even Homer sometimes backs off, you know? That doesn't even make sense.
I actually agree with Donnie on this one. Being forced to play these jokers in Finland is the definition of a chore. All for a stupid USB stick and an exposition from Quint. Their entire campaign could have been reworked for Chris Stephani, since his ass doesn't really do anything in this.
If I recall correctly, he doesn't want them to say the word tits in reference to something that would be great.
I only hope that there's a high-powered CPM. That would be the case.
Jesus Christ, this fucking guy. I want to say that he's the most annoying character in the franchise, even more than Irving and that shit here, Steve Burnside.
Well, we may agree on that, Joe. All this piece of shit does is shitty computer hacking that gets too busy referencing shitty films.
Definitely from a sure audiences.
Did you just say Jaws is a shitty film?
Sure, his personality is fucking strange, but we can't give him too much shit. He at least does his job correctly.
Exactly.
Only some of the time.
I didn't do everything.
At one point, doesn't he admit to straight up stalking another colleague?
So, follow the test of the thought. You know where Seabird's at? Almost. I thought it was very yet, but I lost it in it. You gotta stop it, don't you?
You said it. Not to mention that he leaves Grinder on his own to fight mutated wolves like a fucking jackass.
Which is also his code name, if I remember correctly.
Jackass here.
It's as if the BSAA knew what this fucker was like.
Okay, guys, let's reel it in a bit. First off, we're ranking them both, not just Quint. And so far, you've just been ripping into one half. Grinder isn't annoying, at least, and he sometimes keeps Quint in check.
If somebody says something out, go on there with some wood. Hey, Grinder?
Secondly, Quint at least finds out that O'Brien is the one who's behind Beltro's resurfacing.
Back to O'Brien. Deltro was never back in action. It's all smoke and mirrors, orchestrated by yourself. No.
D tier.
I have to side with Joe on this there. Yes, Grinder's playable, but not for very much. In fact, I'm pretty sure you spend more time watching them both in cutscenes than you do actually playing as Grinder. And to be honest, I'd rather plead guilty than listen to Quint's shitty East Coast accent any longer. Absolutely.
Nah, fuck that. Grinder is still playable, although minimal at best. And even though Quint is annoying as all fuck, he still does his job. It's just a literal grind to get there. Plus, Quint helps prove the FBC's involvement with Beltro. They're mid-C at the most.
At the very most.
I can deal with that.
Done. Let's move on to Rainer.
Okay, this motherfucker looks like Rocky Dennis in mask. And I know I'm not the only one who thought that.
This fucking dude was the definition of boring. He doesn't do anything at all, except he's suspicious every chance he got.
Plus, you get your hands dirty. You see the production and vengeance.
It didn't help that this idiot nearly tackles Jill when they first meet. Yeah.
To be honest, I would forget that he was even in the game sometimes. I guess they needed him to keep the whole Velcro conspiracy thing alive, but it didn't even do anything for me. In fact, when he's dressed as one of them and begins to explain what's going on, he gets shot.
He doesn't even get to finish explaining what a tool.
He was constantly switching his employment. He's with the FBC. Now he's working with O'Brien. Oh, but wait, he's actually working with Jessica. How can we take a character seriously when it turns out they're a triple agent? It's like playing as a little kid and switching sides so that you'll be the winner.
It's so.
He's also guilty of one thing that I hate in this game the most.
What's that?
All the fucking bait and switch death that happens. There's at least 4 of them in this fucking game. Raymond, Quentin Grinder, Jack Norman is the worst one of them, but we'll get into that later.
So where does this guy rank?
He's a nothing character. In fact, I bet that most people forget about him whenever they think of Revelation. He's only ever around to subvert expectations and be a twist in the storyline, which, may I remind you, never goes anywhere anyway because he never shows back up whatsoever. It's been over 12 years and nobody has heard of Raymond Vester ever again. D-tier.
Oh, no joke. D-tier all the way. Don't forget that he doesn't even give a shit about his other FTC partner at all. He asked about Rachel once, and then that's it.
Rachel. Damn. I haven't heard the person who went to the village.
Oh, if he remembers who she was. And I couldn't agree more. D-tier it is. Okay, let's move on to Jessica.
Oh, yeah. Possibly the thirstiest bitch in the entire Resident Evil franchise.
Oh man, no cap. This woman would only ever have one thing on her brain. Whether it's trying to fuck Chris.
But Chris just the two of us. Only the whole thing is single.
Being jealous of Jill.
She was your partner before, right?
Yeah, my partner from before. What about it?
I was, just asking. Do you trust me as much as Jill?
There's no need to compare. I trust you both.
Constantly reminding Parker that he owes her dinner.
On the dinner next time. Just don't forget about that lobster dip and love. And you will be another dinner.
Oh, just be flirtatious.
Also, am I the only one that thought her wetsuit design was so impractical that it was obvious what the developers were trying to do to her? Like, what is the reason for having only one leg covered while the other isn't?
Are you both bitching that she has too much sex appeal? Shit, you guys were ripping into the Nina for having that taken away from her OG counterpart.
There's a difference here. On one side, you have new Ada with nearly zero flirting, and the other side is Jessica with an overabundance of it. OG Nina is right in the middle. I mean, the moment Parker brings up Director O'Brien, she immediately tells him she wouldn't date him. So, what do you think about that O'Brien guy? That's not what I meant.
This isn't Goldilocks, he's blood-wearing shit stain.
I think what he's trying to say there is that perhaps the developers were trying to
If it matters, it never goes anywhere, and she doesn't use it to butt over her comrades, which yet again is another twist that they had to put in this game.
No kidding. The moment that she needed to do something else on the ship, I knew she was going to be the traitor.
Okay. We should split up then. There's something I need to check on first.
Hold it like this. Hunter? Spies infiltrated the BSAA.
I'm shocked. Love that shot.
Which unfortunately puts her into the same boat as Raymond. Yet another character who is switching teams left and right. All for it to lead to the final big twist in the end, where it shows that her and Raymond were actually working for someone else in order to get the key of this virus. It's so goddamn convoluted that it's no wonder Capcom never brought them up again.
I'll agree with you that she's basically the same as Raymond. However, since she's still a co-op partner for both Parker and Chris, and there's more interaction with her than Raymond, that makes her C-tier the most. She's just as forgettable.
Fine.
Whatever. Okay, guys, let's get to Chris then.
I don't know if it's because this game was mainly for Jill, or if it's because Chris had his own game back in 5, but he seems to be more of a footnote in this one. He barely in it at all.
No kid. They didn't utilize him fully in this one. That's why he should have been the one to go to Finland. Instead, we get a precursor to RV8 Chris. Coming in at the last minute after everyone has already done 90% of the job to help Jill to find the ball. At least Roger Craig Smith came back to reprise his role. He's still the best Chris we had, hands down.
Perhaps this is where Chris gets the idea of keeping things from people. The balls on this guy to demand that O'Brien tell him everything, but won't do the same for Ethan.
Anything happened? But sir, couldn't you have at least told us? We really should have told you from the place.
There wasn't time.
Even so, you should have told him.
I would also like to point out the fact that Chris doesn't give a fuck about pilots either. Like, I know we've already stated that if you're a chopper pilot in this franchise, you're fucked from the word go, but goddamn, Chris, have some compassion.
Christ, that's cold. Maybe this is the starting point where he began to throw teammates away like fodder. And speaking of inhuman traits, isn't there a scene where Chris and Jill are just talking normally with respirators in their mouths while they enter the Queen Dido? I also loved it when some steel beams fall, and for some reason Chris can't just move around the side to link up with Jill.
Okay, I can't just look. All the way around and get up with Jill. Let's get down to it. His gameplay was decent, much like the others. There's really nothing special about him in this one. Most of the time, when I think of the first revelation, I don't think of Chris. This was Jill's game, through and through.
Agreed. I think the lack of his presence really does hinder him. Even if he shows up to take Parker's place at the end, will be at the most, in my opinion.
I can deal with that.
Same.
Good. Now let's get to Parker, a true MVP.
No joke. This guy was Jill all the way through. He sticks with Jill through everything, and is a great partner. Much like Sheva in 5. Plus, he brings the punches too.
I agree. He's a great character. Even his personality shines in this entry. He sticks around during the panic to help people. And even though Jessica is there too, I will admit that it seems more genuine with him. It's not in question that he cares.
Did do everything we could.
I won't believe it. Case in point, he saves Raymond's life. Twice.
Absolutely. The guy was great and deserves a high ranking easily.
Whoa, hold on a second. Bullshit, Joe.
Fucking serious right now?
Listen, I will agree that his gameplay is good, but only because it's similar to everyone else's. But you're forgetting what we've already said, that he's unable to use the upgrade crate. And as for his personality, although he's a great guy, don't forget that it's because of his mistrust for Raymond for some reason that he allows Jessica to get the drop on them in the first place.
Wonder, it's me.
I mean, shit, he has Jessica dead to rights and even confirms that she's most likely the mole. But then just because she pushes her charm on him, he fumbles the fucking ball. Him getting shot is really his own damn fault in the first place.
Wonder.
Whoa! Are you suggesting that his altruism is only half-assed because in reality he deserves to be shot?
I'm saying that he made a mistake that put everyone's life in jeopardy. Jill, Chris, Raymond, everyone. The damn ship was exploding and all the evidence was destroyed because of him not literally pulling the trigger.
That didn't matter. They still got the evidence from Jack London later on.
And either way, thank God he saved Raymond before because he returns the favor.
First off, the burning ship and Parker's inability to walk is all because he didn't stop Jessica. Secondly, don't get me fucking started with his quote, death scene. I said earlier that all the fake-out deaths were the worst part of this game, and his is the worst of them.
Well, he's too wound up on this.
Just let him say his piece.
It's okay for main characters to die, especially in deep emotional scenes. It helps the viewer feel something for the character's last moments. But when you then have them live for some unexplainable reason, it cheapens it. Like Trevor in Castlevania, or Maeve in The Boys. These characters sacrificed themselves, and it was incredibly emotional, only to have it ripped away because of reason.
You think part of his death scene was cheapened?
The dude fell from God knows how far into a fiery explosion and still had a crippling bullet wound, only to be seen minutes later being saved by Raymond. In the end, he only had a busted leg, and the best part is that he's yet another missing person on Side Character Island. Case in point, how would you honestly feel if Pierce had lived in the end? Somehow he escaped and is back at the BSAA reading comics or some shit.
Okay, I see your point. That would be lame as all fuck. Can we please just rank him already?
No, Joe. Take a hard pill, Joe. You're about to fucking die.
Fuck the both of you. Sacrifices are supposed to mean something, not have it mean shit just because a writer is too scared to kill Valentine.
She was great at this for real. And since it had been a decade since she had the chance to star in her own game, it was also nice to see her again.
Well, just like with Parker, there's really not anything bad going on with her in this. She controls the brakes, she still kicks ass, especially since she can customize her weapon. And speaking of which, thank God they only gave her a few to carry instead of the massive weapon that they could later implement in the city.
No kidding. I would also like to say that her back and forth with Parker was nice too. It really helped show how well they worked with each other.
By the way, what's the deal with that guy in the gas mask? See his game.
She's definitely still the master of unlocking.
And she's incredibly lucky with the slots.
However, with all that being said, it's a bit unfortunate that you don't get to play her as much as you should have. The fact of the matter is that even though this is supposed to be her game, you're forced to play as Grinder, Chris, and Parker in both his past and present states. A lot of time they could have just been given to her to split between all these personas just for a conspiracy plot. Overall, it really does hinder her.
I see your point. In fact, come to think of it, why couldn't they just make Jill be a part of the panic? She could have been flown in with O'Brien to protect him or something. That would have given more screen time to her, especially since it's weird that Chris and Jill are nowhere to be seen during this time, but O'Brien is.
Yeah, that is weird. Why were we forced to play as the Italian Stallion so much?
Back on track, I'd have to probably say that she's a solid 8 in this one.
That's it? That's all we got for Jill?
There's really nothing much to say about her, and that is bad. In fact, the more we talk about a character, it's usually because of some shit they do. But Jill in this game is great, as we've already mentioned. In fact, looking back at all of her games where she's the main protagonist, she's been rocking the top tier since '99.
What about RE5?
Get a new battery for your hearing aids, Joe. That's Chris's game, not Jill's. And I see what you mean there. Overall, she's not like any of them suits where it felt like a chore to play as. She's smooth, professional, and still a badass. I can agree with 8 here.
Say, awesome. All right then, we're done with the first revelations. Before we get into the second one, is there anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, I was wondering about their casino. You need to get into the VIP room if you have 107 grams of weight exactly. So anyone with a few coins can just waltz right in.
And why did the Genesis find something in the tip of that cardboard cutout? Or more importantly, why was there anything in there at all?
I actually didn't see an issue with that, did you, Joe?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
All right, you guys, let's just move right into Revelations 2, starting with Dave.
Oh man, Gabe, you tried so hard, my man. But to be honest, the moment you said you could pilot that chopper, I knew you were doomed.
No joke, it's safe to see it.
Once I repair it, it's not that faulty.
At least he did his best to keep the group together.
Yeah, in the most macho way possible. Shit, even Neil had to compliment him with a cliche expression.
Don't worry. He gets militant. The man eats dangerous for breakfast and cracks it out like dinner.
And he loved using those puns too.
Don't matter. It's like a raw skin ass. Oh, yeah! Overseas drinks!
Overconfidence, shit puns, and flying a chopper. This dude was the perfect mixture for a dead character in this universe.
Yeah, but he was still a good character, not annoying like Pedro or shady like Neil. This dude actually tried to help the others. And even when he was about to change, he took a fucking knife to himself. Guy went out in a blaze of glory while fucking laughing too.
See here, wait a minute, hold up.
Fuck you guys. How could this Chad possibly be indeed?
He's only in cutscenes, Don, and not that many of them. In fact, his entire screen time amounts to maybe 5 minutes, and don't forget that his chopper fiasco creates the perfect distraction for Neil to snatch Natalia.
Sorry, Patty, but them's the break.
Fine, fuck you both. It's not worth the argument. Deeds here then.
All right, let's move on to Pedro then.
The balls, guys? This fucking clown only had 2 character traits. How much he was pissing himself. And how much he just loved balls.
No shit, this guy got annoying real fucking fast. Like almost by the time he was established in the tavern, I was ready for him to fucking die.
I'm with you both on that. The only positive thing this shaky little shit did was work on the bracelets, which pinpointed where Alex was.
You're coming from the north.
Other than that, all he did was shit his pants. It was only a matter of time that he would become a monster. I was just surprised it was as a boss.
And of course, he's the one-hit boss too.
I just want to say that I'm glad that he keeps up the Kool-Aid Man tradition. God damn it, did he still have to have fun in his brain, even as a monster 6 months later? And how is he not disintegrated like all the others when Barry encounters him? Did the power of bones keep him perfectly preserved that entire time?
No idea. To be honest, he was a mid-character with an even more mid-boss fight. I'm gonna go with C here.
Same.
Yeah, he can still kill you, so C is fine. Let's start off with Neil Fisher.
You know, if they had given this dude more screen time, then I'm sure that I would have given more of a shit about him. Literally, whatever this guy does, I just didn't give a shit. We're just told that he's a good friend of players, and that he was the executive for TerraSave, and that's it. The guy pops in and out so frequently that much like in the first Revelation, it wasn't even shocking that he turned out to be bad.
No cap. Almost every line out of this douche's mouth is suspicious. Even the first time he meets up with Claire, he has a shitty excuse for how he survived being separated from the group.
Yeah, but I run fast.
Jim understands. And when he's with the girls, he's contradicting Claire, whom he knows has had experience in this kind of situation.
The overseer might be inside. I'll see what they'll find out.
Barry. We should wait for dawn.
By dawn, we might all end up like Pedro. The clock's ticking in all.
The stepping stones to his betrayal were too obvious, like when he tries to throw blame onto Alex, only to immediately realize and when an opportunity comes to split up, he can't suggest it fast enough. The dude was shady, and he rolled along with subtlety.
Jim edition. I love how his action is so obvious that even Moira figures it out before Claire.
There's something I gotta tell you. I noticed something when Jill was with us. His bracelet never...
Yes, this is that.
That's so fucking stupid. But I guess they needed something else to tie in Terra Grigia other than Natalia.
It's flimsy at best, but I see what you mean. Basically, this tool gets turned into a monster, of course, and becomes the classic bullet-spongy, charge and dodge boss that we all know and love. And as you fight him, he begins spouting out his fucking world domination manifesto. Like Capcom has an overabundance of villain motivation and monologues locked and loaded. I just don't know if it's because he actually believes it from the beginning or if it's the virus talking.
I don't know, but I'm going to have to give some props to the voice actor, Yuri Lowenthal. The dude puts in 100% into his role at least.
Too bad he didn't save the kid.
up there.
That's two characters who played the Kid Roasted.
3 if you count his voice as Ben 10 in the Alien Force.
All right, so where do we put this motherfucker? Because we haven't even talked about the fact that his fight is the actual moment in the game that gives you the different endings. And if you've been playing Claire this whole time and didn't know to switch to Moira for the killing blow, then you fucked yourself with a bad ending.
Shit, I forgot about that. It's a weird place to put a choice system, but honestly, I didn't mind it. If he was the key to Moira overcoming her fear of guns and on her way to being a better character, then so be it. But with everything else about him, he's pretty much a C-tier character.
But like you said, his existence is what pushes Moira to conquer her demons and move forward. Shouldn't he go higher because of that?
Sorry, Joe, I'm going to side with Don. That's giving Neil too much credit. He may be the cause of her martyrdom, but she really did it on her own, because you could still get the job done with Claire. And with everything else we've talked about it, I'll agree with C-tier.
Fine, I can live with that.
Any questions before we move on?
Yeah, I got one. So his mission was to kidnap people who have a low tolerance to fear, right? That's why he specifically snatched them all at the Terrasate gathering.
Terrasate is the organization that has the absolute worst slogan.
Terrasate. Because death doesn't have to end with Chris.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
But it's also done.
Fuck, even the villain at Death Island throws shade at these jokers.
A Claire Redfield. You think your group helps me, but they don't do anything to stop the actual cause of all the suffering. They offer bandages instead of real solutions.
So my question is, why the fuck did he grab Pedro? That dude must have shown earlier signs of being afraid of his own shadow.
What was dealing with that, man?
No way do I believe that he's faced unspeakable horrors and that his psyche valves were peaked.
No shit. I also want to know who the hell are the men that came in guns blazing, because we never see them ever again. The island didn't have any military personnel to fight against, so we're just mercenaries. And also, if you get a look at the list before they all get snatched, you can clearly see Natalia's name on there, which means she was specifically invited to this exclusive party, and since she's an orphan at this point, there must have been some guardian that brought her. So did they report her missing for 6 months? And how did Moira and Claire not notice this little house on the Prairie Girl walking around the other party building? And speaking of Moira, Neil didn't even know who she was.
Moira, I don't think you actually let me know. He's our boss.
Yeah, you're very pertinent, right? The dad had the essay.
Yet he had her name on the list too. What's up with that?
Jesus, you're really hung up on this list.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me. Either Natalia was at the party as the list suggests, wandering around with a teddy bear among executives and other bigwigs, or she was already on the island, which begs the question, why is she on that list? And Moira on there is just as confusing to me too.
Yeah, how did he get psych evaluations from someone who he's never met, but also who literally started that day?
The Barry Burns girl?
Yep, Moira started today.
And what kind of unspeakable horrors did Moira even face?
Okay, guys, listen. The list is just a flimsy plot device that shoehorned in here for Claire to find to give some kind of evidence that Neil was a traitor. That's all it is. So stop wasting time on the stupid list and let's move on.
Jesus, Barry.
Okay, Mayor, calm down. No need to stress so much that you hate yourself any more than you already have.
I have a problem with this. Let's just get to ranking Alex Lester already.
Right. Female Western.
To the Western. You got this shit.
Yet another character that was forced into being in relation to Alvin Lester for obvious reasons. When they created it, Capcom broke the mold. But it's obvious that they've been trying to fix it ever since.
Her existence was confusing to me. So these events are happening after RE5 and the Kijiji incident.
I think it's right for sick. Springs had some of the same symptoms as the reports. It's a virus that bad people used in Africa a couple of years ago.
So that means that Lester has already been to see Spencer, and he explains that only one child survived.
The way what it trusted to take expectation of them, but we wasn't surviving. You.
So I find it hard to believe that this extremely powerful man didn't know that one of his test children had also survived alongside his golden boy
This is an odd statement by Spencer, I agree. Especially since there's a document stating that she works for Umbrella later on in 5, as well as his memoirs in the Lost in Nightmares DLC, where he specifically mentions Alex a few times, but not by her last name. So it makes me think that her being a Wesker was an afterthought, yet again.
You can't really take the paper seriously there. I mean, there's also one that mentions Anita W. as well. And that also means that some painter out there also knows about her. Poor bastard probably was killed immediately.
Just another plot hole when it comes to Wesker's bloodline. So let's get into this. And for starters, although her very presence is problematic for the timeline, I don't actually mind it too much. She was a very competent villain. In some ways, she's a more believable Jigsaw than Lucas was.
Absolutely. Like I said before, the entire game felt like a love child between Saw and Resident Evil, and her role as overseer was a welcome one. The bracelets, the traps, the constant surveillance. They kept to the theme and didn't really waver throughout Claire and Moira's campaign.
Until you got to the secret lab. And just to be clear, her motivation was to find a person that she could implant her consciousness into, but she had to find someone who was capable of being afraid.
Something like that, yeah.
So she decided on a little girl whose parents died in Terra region, because if that makes her a fear, then she probably could have snatched up Sherry Birkin too, and ended up with regenerative powers to boot. I mean, that kid got fucked up.
Don't talk about little girls, Jim. You know what the court said.
Fucking Barry.
Yeah, her plan always seemed to be overly complicated to me. Plus, there's that 6-month gap in between the two campaigns that leave a lot of questions open. Like, she finally gets Natalia and plants her consciousness into her, and then just makes her lay dormant for half a year.
6 months. That one's falling.
But then she Kurt Cobain's herself. However, at the very last moment, she feels fear of dying. And the Phobos virus mutates her into something resembling Ellen DeGeneres and a homeless man. My question is, why did she inject herself in the first place?
Who really gives a shit? Besides, you and Alex was the whole reason why the island is the way it is. People being used as test subjects and shit. Monsters running around. But Monster Alex was cool too. And even though her obsession with Natalia was a bit interesting, she at least had a pretty dope boss fight.
Yeah, I agree that her fight was sick as shit. Using air vents to move around. And her new grotesque form was pretty cool too. But goddamn, she just never stops fucking talking. And having an extra fight sequence for the good ending is nice too. It definitely helps to wrap things up with everyone.
Also, I'd like to add that it was nice to see that she even laments her brother's death. A little fucked, I know, but still kind of interesting.
Understand how you felt, Robert. It's not enough to live. What's your turn?
All that being said, I would say she's probably a solid B. Her plan was too complicated, even backfiring during her first death because she injected herself for some fucking reason.
But her overly complicated plan did work. She successfully implanted her consciousness into Natalia no matter which ending you get, good or bad. Alex is inside her, waiting to come out.
Nevertheless, her entire existence is just another way for Capcom to keep milking that Wesker cow and make up new shit.
Really, Saki, did you have to use the comic with my face on it?
Well, fuck. Either just bring him back or keep him in the ground. Don't bring out a...
I mentioned her multiple times. Let's start up with Natalia Corda.
Oh man, I can feel Creepy Joe using all of his power to hold back the urge to tell us what aroma her hair gives off.
Jesus Christ, you couldn't help yourself, could you?
I bet you all the money in my account that he pressed his nose against the glass trying to smell it.
Hey, fuck you! Don't bet money you don't have just because your shitty truth app is on fire.
Fucking got him.
Anyway, back to Natalia. To be honest, not a whole lot to say, really. Along with Neil, her backstory is basically the only thing that connects this game to the first Revelations. I did, however, like that she doesn't have as much plot armor as Sherry does, and can actually die if you're not too careful.
You know, you get more and more sinister, Joe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
How did you guys like her powers?
You mean the obvious ripoff to The Last of Us? A massive award-winning game that came out 2 years prior, where Natalia can see enemies through walls and she just crouches and listens, and also hits fuckers with a simple brick. And now that I think about it, like Ellie, she's also completely immune to the virus that seems to have eradicated an entire population as well. However, I guess it's okay, but honestly, if Claire and Moira could run around without it, then Barry shouldn't have any problem either, really. And I'll be honest, I hated that you had to be her in order to find out.
Oh, fuck yeah, I hated that shit too. Since she's the only one who can see them in order to literally point them out, you were forced to run around with her a second time after you cleared the room. That shit got annoying real fast.
At least they explained why, though. Dark Natalia or some shit. And it wasn't too bad. At least it got interesting when she would point out those little invisible flying shits. Even though a simple gas grenade did that just fine, too. Also, side note, did either of you notice that Moira's coat in her epilogue story looked almost exactly the same as Ellie's did?
It crossed my mind. And speaking of lookalikes, did Claire's outfit when she was in the chopper look similar to Ada's in RE4 Remake?
Okay, sorry I derailed us. Back to Natalia. So as we've already said, she's mainly there because Neil grabbed her from Alex. After Alex puts herself into Natalia's brain, she's able to survive alone on an island of monsters before Barry finds her. That's pretty impressive, not to mention how she was able to do that before meeting Claire and Moira, and without Dark Natalia to help her.
She just did away with the monsters all by herself.
All in all, she's pretty decent. And since we get way more screen time and gameplay with her, she's an essential character, especially since the villain's motivation surrounds her entirely. Whether you get the good or bad ending, Natalia has a piece of Wesker inside of her. It's just too bad that she never comes back or does anything significant. So I would put her in C tier as well.
That seems about right. I mean, she's still a child that only came in one game. And even though there are times when she was able to fend for herself, she still has that plot. So C is good.
Done. And just before we move on, I just wanted to say that since the Burdens both went all over that island, maybe don't have fucking Kafka laying around the house. Since Alex was so obviously obsessed with him, I would think that any written or drawn material of his should be treated like a loaded gun in their household, lest some mindfuckery happens.
Yeah, no shit. Then again, her mind was most likely already fucked, since she was legit thinking of stuff fair to talk.
Joe, come on, that was obviously Alex fucking around with her and starting Natalia.
Yeah, aren't you the expert on manipulating little girls?
It's a legit observation. She's 10, for Christ's sake, and still thinks stuff fair can talk and leave postcards.
I'm so sad. With my terrible eyes on.
All right, we need to move on, so let's get started with Moira.
I just want to go home.
And I want to say that, yes, she's a bit cringy with all the fucking teenage sass and angst.
I don't know what those walking shit things. Sorry. I'm butt stains. And you really need your butt stains.
But throughout the game, I found her to get gradually better and better.
Are you fucking kidding me, Barry? You actually like this edgy little shit? Almost everything out of her mouth is either some lackluster way of being funny.
I remember the day.
Or just constantly bashing your father to no fucking end.
I don't want Gary to do the same sentence. I'm so sick of being men like Barry.
That shit was great each and every time she opened her mouth.
She wasn't that bad. We cut her some slack.
Jumping on your horse already, you white knight, she's too old for you.
Oh, fuck off already with that shit.
Focus, guys. Let's just get the bad stuff out of the way first. Yes, Donnie's right. The constant vision of Barry is good for characterization. But since she overdoes it so much, it did get annoying real fast. Basically, she's just a regular teenage girl.
But at the time of the game, she's 20, so she's just covered in animosity for her father, especially since it's over something that isn't trivial at all. This isn't like she was caught sneaking out at night. Christ, she shot her sister. And by the sounds of it, Moira was not a little girl. Like, what the actual fuck was she doing playing around with a gun in the first place?
Barry explained that it was his fault that he didn't keep it locked up.
It was mine. I guess I never really got around to taking the blame.
So he's a little more strict with her, and for good fucking reason, too. It made me sound like Moira's the one who keeps the tension alive between them.
Not according to her.
So he goes, and he goes right. Just what you feel like you do.
Again, and I guess I have to reiterate, this is not like she accidentally crashed the car. She shot her fucking sister. She grabbed the gun, put her finger on the trigger, pointed it at Polly, and fired.
Okay, that's enough. We're not here to start a campaign on gun control.
Fuck that. Second Amendment all the way, baby.
Every American has the right to hang a pair of bear arms on their wall. How could that possibly be misconstrued?
Careful, Don. You get any more hot-headed, and you'll catch that rat's nest on fire. I don't share the same opinion on this one. First off, the banter between her and Claire was great.
Looks okay. Yeah, let's do one home.
And yes, I will admit that her dialogue was pretty bad in the beginning, but she was also the only one that felt more like a regular person thrown into a nightmare world.
That's fun. This is not okay.
She was a voice for the player.
Until the script makes her believe in something that is utterly ridiculous.
It's like one back of that retinal scan. I don't know why that makes sense, but somehow it does. It's ridiculous! Ridiculous!
So she's adapting. We want that in our protagonist. Remember you were right, Dan?
He's right, Don. Even her gameplay technically evolves. She goes from being just on flashlight duty to stomping fuckers with her pro bar. I would also like to point out that at a later point in the game, she's more level-headed than Claire is.
Hey, Mary, be very careful what you're about to say.
I said it's true, Donnie, but fine. We'll hold off on that part for when we rank Claire. Back to Moira. Her past kept her mindset in a cage, refusing to adapt even in the harshest environment.
We need to go too much. No, I don't. Sorry, I own firearms. Not a good company.
She just used the crowbar for everything. However, if she goes with a good ending, she finally breaks free of her fears, making her the only character that has a true arc. That's some epic shit right there.
Not only that, but in the DLC, she also learns to forgive and love the father.
You need the DLC to have to buy in order to understand how the fuck she survived being completely crushed by 2 tons of concrete. Not to mention that her bracelet never changed colors even afterwards.
As for the bracelet, mine never changed color. And I never committed a lot of things.
You telling me that Alex Wester mutates from the mere split second when she pulls the trigger but the boiler never does? And the only explanation for her survival is an old man who prepared and hulked out off screen to save her?
The old man pulled a battered ass out of the wreck and cut me down.
Is he master motherfucking roasty or something? That's some sea-level shit right there.
Come on, fuck that, Donnie. Now I will agree with you 100% that having to buy DLC for answers to a character's story is utter bullshit. However, the bracelet thing can be easily explained by Moira simply accepting her fate and having no fear in dying, whereas Alex did.
You're don't look back.
He's got a point about the old man, though. I will admit that it makes no sense at all how he saves her. Like, are we supposed to believe he pulled her out of the rubble when the entire building exploded and collapsed on top of it?
Not to mention that you still have to buy the DLC to fully see her character arc. Without it, you don't see how she came to forgive her father.
If he wants to be able to protect him, let him. I'd rather put up with that than make him spend the rest of his life wishing to protect me.
I will agree that the old man saving her is pretty stupid. And although I'm completely with Donnie about buying answers to finishing character arcs, we have ranked others based on their DLC in the past. Fair is fair. So I vote 18.
Yep, solid A.
Fine, fuck you both. Let's get on to the Jad Dad itself.
Fuck yes, very motherfucking further.
Oh man, it was so good to play him once again. I actually had more excitement to play him than Bill, since he's been MIA for 13 years.
Absolutely. This beautiful bastard is truly the shining beacon we needed in this game. He was practically flawless.
You know, I'm not even going to argue that point. The man comes loaded for bear to save his daughter. But unlike Ethan, this alpha knows what he's doing. He still has some of the best lines, too, from official dad jokes.
Let's just give us a whole lot more options.
The great one-liners.
What is going on?
And even since the best line of the game that sent literal chills down my goddamn spine.
But for now, I have this.
You're right.
And these are just his voice lines. His actions speak even louder than his silver serpent. The man wishes to find his daughter as soon as he can, giving no thought to his own safety. But when he bumps into Natalia, he shifts right into dad mode and tries to keep her safe.
No. It's too dangerous for you to come along.
You can tell he's still trying to be a good father by the way he treats Natalia, even though I'm still going to say that he did nothing wrong.
All what matters is that you're safe.
Let's just be honest, there's nothing bad about it in this game. The love he has for his daughter is so fierce that he turns his worry into vengeance when he thinks she's dead.
I'm gonna wreck this island for what it did to her.
Which then he shifts that entire hatred into killing Alex.
Look, bottom line is that this dope-ass motherfucker is S-tier material, hands down. It's no wonder he's got a bad back since he's carrying this entire game.
I'll throw my back out if I try to run this thing.
And not only does he fight Alex Wester's mutated form twice and helps kill her, he also reunites with his daughter, completing both of their arcs, and adopts Natalia. Doesn't send her away for foster care or whatever, but brings her into his own home. The dude is a top-tier father.
Absolutely. Without question, Puppy goes where he belongs. Anything else before we move on to Claire?
I just like how he had a small call back to the Spencer mansion when they answered that issue.
There's something up there.
Speak to yourself. I've had my fill.
That's messed up. He's talking about me.
It was a nice taste of nostalgia.
All right, guys, we're nearly finished. Let's end this with Claire Redfield.
I won't have you talking shit about Claire, Barry. That would be like pulling our troops out of Afghanistan level of stupid.
Firstly, fuck off, bitch. That shit was your fault anyways. Secondly, he's right, Barry. Claire is so fucking dope in this, it would be dumb to say otherwise. Just like the others, she plays so fucking smooth, and her past experiences have her taking charge immediately.
Woman, I'm gonna get you out of there right now.
And don't forget that she has to nearly do 100% of the work since Moira refuses to use guns at all, leaving Claire to basically carry her throughout the game.
Exactly. They're in a goddamn hellhole, and Moira can't adapt for the sake of her own survival. I mean, Christ, she's actually babysitting this 20-year-old. And then on top of that, when they meet up with Natalia, she now basically has two little girls to keep safe.
Wait, it's okay. Don't be scared.
How can you possibly think that she isn't peak material here?
I never said her gameplay wasn't a shit. Of course she's fucking badass in this. I can't deny that. She's a fucking Redfield. What I'm saying is that somewhere between the events of Raccoon City and this island, someone at Capcom dropped the ball in her personality. Look, I was super excited to play as her too, but I can't simply ignore a couple glaring facts that drag her down a bit.
I don't see it.
Okay, let me explain. Let's go back to her meeting with Natalia. For some reason, Claire in this is way too aggressive with her, barraging her with questions and shit, as if she's about to lose her cool. In fact, Moira is the one who has to back her off in order to keep Natalia from running away.
What's your name? Where you from? Have anything here? We're down the road.
Like, isn't this the same Claire Redfield who was gentle with another little girl in a city full of zombies? What the fuck happens to where Claire completely forgets how to calmly talk to scared children?
And it seems this guy's gone. It's all up on you.
Where did that motherly instinct go?
Fuck, I forgot about that shit.
Apparently so did Claire.
So, this is a completely different situation with another little girl. She has no idea who to trust.
Oh, you mean like what she said about people back in the prison? First off, when she said that, I was reminded that her brother came to her rescue back in Code B. I mean, shit, that was a very steep burnside thing to say. She must have forgotten that too. Secondly, that's a shit argument done. She saw Natalia had the bracelet on too, so she should have known that they're basically in the same situation.
Whatever. If she forgot how to treat kids, no big deal. She could have learned how to treat little girls again, right, Joe? Fuck you.
Bullshit. There's no way she would just forget about her time with Sherry. But it does lead up to probably her worst flaw in this game.
This is so stupid.
So while they're with Natalia, Moira is the one who cheers her up.
What's your friend from? Oh, sorry.
No big deal. This lets Claire focus on protecting them, of course. Which also makes sense why Natalia doesn't mention Claire at all to Barry, but instead talks about Moira. Well, it's more like 5 years. But it's Claire's apparent obsession with Neil that really starts to weigh her down in this game.
How the fuck do you figure she's obsessed with him?
Yeah, Barrett, explain all I'm going to call bullshit.
Well, first, right after they lose Natalia, they find a note that Neil leaves. Moira immediately thinks it's sus, but Claire says it's legit.
It says, head for the factory. I don't share the bullshit to the people. It's legit.
And then when they venture farther, Moira again questions him, but Claire goes to his defense.
So, Claire, why would the boss come here? I don't know. Neil just does things sometimes.
Yeah, I think it was at this point that I began to suspect Neil.
The guy was suspicious from the start, you know. You should have been more alert. I guess that's asking too much from you, huh?
Back to what I was saying. When they get the Prometheus statue and find his name tag gently placed on there, no blood or anything, she says,
Which I heard. He needs you?
That's pretty cringe.
Shit. Even I have to agree with Joe on that one.
and then while searching the factory, Claire is so upset that she can't find Neil that she just completely forgets about Natalia. A little girl is scared and alone in this nightmare that two grown adults have trouble surviving. Even motherfucking Moira calls her out.
No. Where are you? Neil? Not the girl.
Fuck.
God damn it, he's right.
How the fuck did she go from caring so deeply for Sherry in Raccoon City that she would continue to venture through hell to get her an antidote that she didn't even know existed, to just not giving a single fuck about Natalia because her boyfriend could be in danger, which is another thing that Moira calls her out on too.
Still no sign of your boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend.
Not only that, but even after they make it out of the factory, Claire wouldn't even admit that Neil wrote the note that she was so sure was legit, just because it put them in danger.
No. I should have listened to you. Neil didn't write that message. He couldn't have.
I mean, shit. Moira was the one who pretty much figured the Neil conspiracy out way before Claire did, because her judgment was too clouded about the possibility that her friend was setting them up.
Look, there's something I noticed something when Joe was with us. His bracelet never changed color. I mean, the living dead were coming at us from all directions. He must have been scared. No. There's no way. Got it? End of discussion.
Fuck Don, he's right. I mean, Claire was too trusting of some dude that she possibly had feelings for, and that he couldn't do any wrong. Yet only a few hours earlier she had said,
Joe, you turncoat. You're supposed to be on my side with Claire.
Don't be so stubborn, Dawn. She's still badass. It's just that in this game, they made her blinded by an obvious love and came back to betray her.
Later? Hurry? No. I'm just loading to see what's happening.
Fine. I'll admit that her character does seem to do a 180 of this. But at least she gets revenge on Neil, giving us a great performance by her voice actress, Allie Hillis.
Yeah. It's not this.
That being said, I'm going to have to vote for high B tier.
Are you fucking joking me?
come on, I understand that she's probably not S tier and that she is a bit low.
Look, bottom line is that if she had kept a better eye on Natalia and was more aware of the deal, then Alex's plan wouldn't have come to be. And darn Natalia wouldn't be working around waiting for a certain someone to recast them.
Regardless, she still ended up surviving the fall and telling Barry about the island. Not to mention she comes in and helps him kill Alex as well. She could have stayed put and recuperated, but instead she went back for him and possibly with hope that Moira was still alive.
I'm so sorry. You were intending. Shut up!
A tier.
I'm with Don on this too. And yes, there is quite the loophole on how she survived the thaw of the ocean and the 6 months it took for Barry to find the island a mere day before Claire shows back up. But she still deserves A tier.
Okay, I'll concede. The sudden change in her persona still frustrates me, but in the end, she comes out on top, of course. I mean, shit, she drives a car with a Star Command plate, so I'm good with A tier. All right, guys, I think that's it. Not too sure what other Resident Evil games we should do that are worth ranking.
No shit, look at this thing. It's so massive. We wouldn't be able to fit in all the characters from the other side games we haven't even looked into yet.
And we still have to do the 9th installments when it comes out too.
Oh shit, that's true. Completely forgot about that.
Maybe it's time to move on to a different franchise. All this Silent Hill talk has made me want to go into a new direction.
Interesting.
Hey, Donnie, did you really say that Peter North did the voice for Ghost in Destiny instead of Nolan North?
Sorry, I was distracted.
No shit you were, you sex-addicted fat ass.
I'm here only for Gabrielle. I just saved your life. I'm not going to run off his life. You're not. Still have to crash your to-do list. So you get that delivered. Crashing your to-do list? That was easy. How to do the wrong way.
Not quite sure what happened to you. What? I must have been died in heaven. I know what it is.
Even though I was stuck, there's a way out of it. I never stopped trying to get back home.
I've been told you for years. Since the last
Yeah, the choice is my favorite. You was destroyed. I was only. It's not my fault. I know that it's you take this hard. Take your fall. That's what you're there and fall. This is my home. Yes, I do. I can't do it without you. But it was wrong. I need to bring it in. Woman, or whatever that is.
Oh, it was maybe from another planet. make the sound of movement very crisp.
Oh, Christ.
I think it's been a few days to calm down a bit. I think it's time to start the bloodline here. But thank God when we're starting to beat each other's throats. So Bill and I ran each other's throats last night. I love Bill. Bill, have you really played this game? Don't worry about it. It's all good. Okay, I guess first up we can do Saturday.
Larry East is an easy site that they can do it back. And at any given moment, your camera can see it motion control. And actually,
Take that shit back right now. Donald Clare speaks to the great introductory fight with Bloodline. It's one of the bosses that laid the groundwork for proving his the game is really tough. Gotta agree with the fighter hit him, and it's probably the best tutorial boss in the entire series. I'm a stroke on this for the guys. This fight was probably too hard. I remember it took like 10 minutes to kill the game. That's probably because you chose the 15 bill. Certified fish, what's a certified fish weapon in the game? The only thing you're certified is, this fight is hard. Okay, let's just look at shit like C and move on to the good stuff. Like gas point. I got a gas point for good stuff. The real Broncos thing. You stand?
real fucking funny that this is the second American that tried to find a stand by and they did not know.
So the difference comes from.
Yeah, I forgot your dumbass fucking living in the Stone Age. Gascoigne is good.
Gascoigne is great TF. He does. He forces the player to learn that this game isn't dark souls anytime. Aggression is the name of the game. If you try to play defensively against this guy, he'll tear right through you. Also, his transformation is tight as hell. Get real broadcast down his kid. Once you realize you need to play defensively, it's almost impossible to guide him and opponent to shoot their standing R1 zone. And normally the whole beauty bar stuff box is pick up my toes. They're false practice in German. I was going to play on the right. And then mom is there. Just like in Gascoigne and felony Donald, this looks like your accessory to the crime and business nothing but a coach. Bill and I are putting this big guy in pain. I was thinking you were going to do this. Good ones? Under the blood star season. This fight is looking through the program. We need to put it in the game.
Snap back to reality, Squid. This fight is okay, but it's B at best. It looks cool with its skin falling off and everything, but I'm pretty sure I've built walls shorter than the run back. Also, this fight is literally the beat of walking forward and to the left and dodging every attack.
I'm tired of that criticism. Donald literally, like every fight in the series, is shit on like looking to the left.
Maybe Mike and Zach is going to make a fucking move set then, if you don't want me to complain about it.
I'm not talking about it. So good, deeply working the deep parts of the game. Tell them, Bill. You guys are blatantly wrong. If you keep the peace, we can put it in D and move on. If you keep the peace, here's the punch. Michelle getting strength, this Michelin man looking half. Anyway, next up is Bigger Amelia. This fight is really hard as a new player, and once again, forces you to play aggressively strong burden. Amelia is the definitive beast fight in the game, and this is a terrible idea. All right, Bill, we're used to Joe having some ass steaks, but we invited you on because we thought you could spit facts.
For real, don't ask, don't tell. Me ignoring this shit here, opinions, Bill, I'd almost rather be called Hillary.
Let's not go that far. Yeah, Bill, have you even played this fucking game, bro? You haven't said like anything about any of the bosses. I didn't have to worry about it,
Bill's a meeting in your hometown, the Little Cock, Arkansas. Take his ass for Rocky's wasting our time.
Brother's all fucking in the second that doesn't even
And I hope I never have to get your folks ass.
Bill, your opinion stuff so much. Bro, you disagree with him on picture again. Not shit, I guess. See you, Bill. Please, guys. Anyway, moving on, we got the Wicked Headline. This is the better chaos of Bloodborne. Go ahead and put this dark in half.
On Java Rock,
Now, wait a second.
I should have fucking known.
This fight isn't so bad. We're going to teach you that inside can have a really big impact on the game. And the fight is like a fucking spirit flame after you've done it before, but figuring it out the first time is kind of fun.
Of course, the guy whose favorite pastime is defending shitty bosses likes this fight. Bro, no one realizes that insight is what affects that shit. Everyone thinks it's random until they open up specs to life. Not even the Reddit intellectuals come to defend this fight's honor.
For real, Don. The Witch of Henwick goes in F. I guess next up the Shadow of Yarn. I love these guys. They're really fun. They all have these different abilities. Depending on how you fight the Yarn, they really do so many amazing things. I have so much nostalgia for guys like these that look like this. Yeah.
I'm going to be real, Joe. I have no fucking clue what you just said, but I think you like the fight, and that's the correct opinion. This is one of the most dynamic fights in the series. It has 3 phases, and the fight can feel completely different depending on the order you kill them in. This fight can feel like a challenge even after beating it 10 times before, but it's never a frustratingly difficult. These guys are the bomb.
If by bomb you mean what I do to the toilet after Taco Bell, then yes, Donald, they are indeed the bomb. Their steak attack is a one shot, and no one likes to deal with that kind of bullshit in the game.
Dodge it, bitch.
Yeah, dodge it, bitch. So Juvenile today, I thought the vibes were going to be better in the Dark Souls, but I guess you've got a controversial one on that. Personally, I find Ramen insane funny. This shit goes hard on your first place, you're not even going to pass. Yeah, Jack dropping down into the water for the first time. It's straight gas sales. It's one of the coolest memories I have in games.
Yeah, I bet it's also one of the only memories you have left. You're right too, Barack. This fight is insane. Insanely fucking bad, my God. Rom does about fucking nothing except nuke you, while her failed test tube baby stun locks you longer than a quick streamer when Chad brings up politics.
I bet Aaron Jr. taught you a lot about failed test tube babies, didn't they, Donald?
Oh God, wait, who's fucking
Test tube baby. Hey, random question. Have you guys ever played this? Joe, I told you on Snap last night, if you bring that shit up, people are going to look at you weird. Let's try to forget you just said that and move on to call. This fight is cool as hell, bro. It's like you're fighting soccer. You mean Pikachu? Yeah, that's what I said. Anyway, the atmosphere of this fight is creepy to the known position.
You know a thing or two about being creepy?
It has such a wide, varied roof set. It has a lot of HP, but it's attack sensitive and damage.
Yeah, if you fight this bastard after Rom, I bet it does feel fair. When you get surprised detained by the ICE agent outside the cathedral and fight him after BSB, this fight feels like some Omega bullshit. I'd like to see your sorry ass beat it with some trashy plus 200 action.
I'm with Johnny on this one, Joe. Paul was asked Pete when he was down on him earlier, and he's going to notoriously awful at communicating whether you're supposed to fight something or run past it.
Ain't no way I know damn well I didn't just hear that shit, Rock. You're defending the asylum demon saying it's obvious you aren't supposed to fight it, and like no doubt 5 days later, you're saying so. How was I supposed to know I shouldn't fight Carl right now? We're hair dry about it. I changed my mind. Let's go.
Donald, the whole point of these tier lists is to accurately rank the quality of these fights, not engage in petty politics.
Your entire career is petty politics.
I am not to get that. Okay, whatever, guys. How are we feeling about the one redraw? We put it to do on this fight before.
Yeah, I can get you.
Hey, now wait one fucking second. Are you kidding me? A 60-foot tall pillar of flesh summons itself out of the sky and drops down into the arena, and you two think it's boring?
You like every fight in these games that drops dangerous shit out of the sky guys.
Okay, buddy. Does it look like quarterback, boring, penalty jack? I don't even know the number of the You don't remember that field.
Not Joe is actually I don't remember anything about this fight either. Like, is it mandatory? I honestly have no clue. I'm not sure if the software does either. Even that DS Assassin's Creed game has no coaching artifact.
That game's just fire. Stop me. Fine, I'll put this guy in C. Next up, we got Martin Ligarius. Call this fight Mara. Yeah, they're moving out the intensive fight in the base game. It's amazing high quality position. Very there. His team goes hard. It's more of you stuff a lot away. You come to non-vampires, vampires, and gangers. He'll keep a good opinion flow if you're on your way to the This fight is quintessential pre-DLC wasn't. It's like you're fighting another player character, except way bigger than actually comedy. Yeah. His mix of magic and physical attacks gives this fight a blundering rhythm regardless of which range you're fighting. Best here.
Surprisingly, like this fight so much, Veronica. I thought all the dead skulls and stuff would remind you of your lore from them.
Are you going to bring that shit up every boss or what?
I'll admit his lore is pretty cool, if only the gameplay was too. This fight is far too demanding for how long of a run back it has, and his attacks are all easy as fuck, unless you know it's specifically a dodge. He also has about 1 million HP. Trust me, I can't.
Maybe if you ever use the weapons,
I don't want to manage all that shit. I thought it was really fully hard, so
for real, he doesn't even have that much HP.
he does. You just abuse Ludwig's holy blade every single playthrough.
Insult LHB again, and I'm kicking your ass from this tough faster than Bill. The rock stones his head.
Oh, come on.
They do like you've been doing this shit all day. Let's wrap it up and think about it. This fight is kind of mid and introduced the gimmick boss mechanic to the series where you can only really be damaged to it on its touchy spots. That was a decent song, man.
I agree with Barack on this one. This fight is so forgettable and so is the area.
The fight is mid, I agree. But all three of us know how cool it is. Knowing these things have been around the yard and watching me this entire time. The fight itself isn't impressive, but it's consistent. It's a good time. Fuck, what was I going to say? There is just the side of the two good posts. That's true, but those ones aren't bosses, Joe. And we're ranking the boss. They're the equivalent of the little umbrellas you get in your cocktail. They're fun to look at, but not meant to be eaten. You're not supposed to eat this. Hey guys, they're on here. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more. So, the Silent Team, I think it's pretty iconic.
So iconic that you've been two more times in the game. Lazy.
It's a pity you left for the full genre. Letting the player know that things won't be easy.
So iconic that Lazy Miyazaki copy pasted it 100 times at the Elden Ring as well. Earthly Avatar, who are you doing? It's another Silent Team.
Yes, it's just so often. I like it. You also get a choice of running away from it and doing a friendly attack. Clever game design to let the player know that Dark Souls encourages different strategies for bosses.
I didn't listen to any of that. See, your boss is the least kid or even lower.
I'll give it a B. I'll accept a B if it's a high B fight.
Whatever.
Next is the Forest. Incredible boss, such unique level design on the bridge. Teach me even further about strategizing.
Except the same with Dark Souls.
Didn't ask, I give it a B. I'll be honest, it was okay. One of the least memorable bosses in the game.
Boss, get it to me. Don't remember the design, the moveset of the boss.
I'll put it into C for now. I've already accepted that you guys won't be putting all the bosses in SMA like I will, so it's fine. C is fine. Good, because there's 26 exposure to get through. And I got another 50 before they make out.
Yeah, thanks for being so submissive, Joe. You're one of the good Dark Souls 1 big players.
Thanks. Wait, no, shut the fuck up. What do we say about the Feldargus? I love him solely because you can summon to learn. Apprentice his son.
Shut the fuck up, Kenneth. Learn to play.
I'll learn to play when you learn to stand properly.
I don't care you doing fuck. I have a natural golden complexion.
I think the boss fight's midway twist and having to fight some gargoyles definitely puts it higher in the silent. Agreed. And it's each year to me. And at the top of each year works. Fine.
Next,
That would be a fine.
more like grappling.
You still walk through the fog wall hearing that fine. You just walk some charges at you. I couldn't fall asleep the day after that.
You couldn't sleep, that's the first.
I think they do good with what they have.
Awful boss fight during group 7.
Yeah, but the feeling of fear instilled in them, the fight across the building room, surrounded by dogs, and that was
It was late. He had 2 annoying dogs instead of big as traveling and big group 7.
Age here for the PTSD occasion.
Big Peter, worried.
Okay, what about these here?
No fucking way to do.
Put it in S tier to make Trump kill himself.
Shut the fuck up.
I'll give it a high C, but we can change it at the end if,
But now it's time for